The US Bank Shopper Cash Rewards Card was recently released in late October 2022 with a new reward structure specifically tailored for retail shoppers. This new cashback card offers 6% multipliers for retail companies in multiple categories that can fit basically anyone's spending patterns. So let's take a closer look at this card to see what kind of value the card has, and later in the video, I'm going to show you how I analyze my own personal retail expenses to see if this card would be a good fit for my specific spending habits. So you can do the same analysis for yourself to determine if this card could be right for you. So what is this card all about? The US Bank Shopper Cash Rewards Card has a sign-up bonus of $250 after spending $2,000 in the first 120 days. There is a $0 introductory annual fee and then a $95 annual fee thereafter. The multipliers on this card are where it truly gets interesting. The card offers 6% cash back on combined eligible purchases each quarter with 2 retailers you choose, up to a $1,500 limit per quarter. It also offers 3% cash back on eligible purchases in one everyday category such as wholesale clubs, gas and electric vehicle charging stations, or bills and home utilities, again up to a separate $1,500 limit per quarter, and then 1.5% cashback on all other purchases. There's also a 5.5% cashback opportunity on prepaid car and hotel reservations booked directly in the US Bank Rewards Center. For the 6% category, here's a list of the eligible retailers as of the initial release of this card, which include retail giants such as Amazon.com, Apple, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart, to name a few. We're going to come back to this in a second when I run through my own retail expense analysis, but let's first run through some of my initial thoughts concerning this card. At first glance, this card looks like an excellent replacement card for store cards with its 6% cash back as compared to the 5% cash back offered when matched to the respective retail store card. US Bank is particularly proud of this and lists this table directly on their website to show you how 6% is greater than 5% or even 2% cash back in some cases. But to really understand what's going on, we have to do some math and recognize several factors about this credit card. There are 2 factors of this card that may not help in having this card be a replacement store card, and that would be the fact that it has a $95 annual fee, after the first year of course, as well as the cap of $1,500 in spend for 2 selected retailers per quarter. The first thing we should look at is the opportunity cost between using this card as compared to the retailer's card. Let's compare this card against a crowd favorite, the Amazon Prime Rewards Visa card. Provided that you spend exactly $1,500 on the US Bank Shopper Rewards card every quarter, that would be $6,000 in total spend per year. If we do the math, 6% of $6,000 is $360, 5% of $6,000 is $300. But remember, this card has a $95 annual fee in year 2 and beyond. So we have to subtract $95 from the $360, which is $265 in cash back rewards compared to the $300 that you would normally get with the no annual fee Amazon Prime Rewards Visa card. And with this comparison, you can see that if you compare the US Bank Shopper Rewards card and the 5% no annual fee retail card, which in this example is the Amazon Prime Rewards Visa card, you come up short value-wise by about $35. But remember, you can still get 3% cash back on other categories like wholesale clubs, gas and electric vehicle charging stations, and home utilities. So to make up for the $35 deficit, we're going to divide that number by 3%, and we get $1,167, which for simplicity will round up to $1,200. By doing the calculations I just presented, you can see that if you're using the card against an existing 5% cashback card, you would have to max out the 6% category in full every year, as well as spend $1,200 per year or at least $300 per quarter in the 3% category just to break even with this $95 annual fee card. Having said that though, there's a sign-up bonus of $250 after meeting the minimum spend requirement, and there's also an introductory $0 annual fee, so this card is definitely worth it in year 1, but for year 2 and beyond, it's going to depend on your own personal spending habits. The second factor we should look at concerning this card is the 6% categories and how broadly they apply to a diverse set of retail shoppers. Just looking at the retailers included, you can see that it targets heavy hitter retailers like Amazon, Target, and Walmart, where a lot of people buy not only their wants, but also their needs, like daily necessities, which may even include groceries. For the tech fanatics, you have Apple and Best Buy on the list. For those into real estate and home renovation, you have Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Menards, and Lowe's. And for those into home decor and interior design, you have probably the highest amount of retail options with Bed Bath & Beyond, Crate & Barrel, IKEA, Kohl's, Macy's, Nordstrom, Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, Wayfair.com, and Williams-Sonoma. I think it's very impressive on how many target retail audiences this card can appeal to, but I think for the most part, US Bank wants this card to be the one card that does it all, hence why they also included the 1.5% cash back option on the everything else category. Now, for us credit card enthusiasts, we're no strangers to maximizing our multipliers by using multiple cards. And I think that this card for us would be a great supplemental card to the main store card. And the reason why I say this is because the $1,500 cap per quarter makes this high multiplier, even at 6%, too restrictive to easily break even. So now that I gave you my initial thoughts on this card, let's dive deeper into something more interesting, and that's figuring out if this card is right for you. As I keep very meticulous spending records, the way I'm going to explain this is by showing you my own personal expense report from the past 7 quarters, from quarter 1 of 2021 through quarter 3 of 2022. Then I'll look at where I spend the most money to see if my previous expense history would have been a good fit for this card if I had this card during that time period. I know that, like the stock market, past performance does not predict future results, but I still think it's a good exercise to go through your previous expenses, not only for the sake of this card, but also to audit your own retail expenses to see where you can improve your spending habits. So let's put all the possible 6% retailers on the screen here to see what we're working with. And now, to make things simpler, let's eliminate all the retailers that I didn't spend any money at over the past 7 quarters. So here we go. This leaves us with Amazon.com, Anthropologie, Apple, Best Buy, Disney, Kohl's, Lululemon, Target, and Walmart. And so let's now take a look at my expenses from each of these retailers divided by quarter. And here it is. On the left side, you can see the retailers in alphabetical order, and on the top, you can see that I've divided my expenses by quarter, starting from quarter 1 of 2021 through quarter 3 of 2022. From this table, you can see that over the past 7 quarters, I spent the most amount of money at Amazon.com, Apple, and Best Buy. So I expect those to be the top contenders in the 6% retail categories. Down at the bottom here, I also can see that the quarter I spent the most money in was the 4th quarter of 2021, which is consistent with what I'd expect, as a holiday season typically leads to an uptick in spending for a lot of people, and apparently myself as well. The next table that I have down here shows from top to bottom the retailer I spent the most money in, followed by the retailer I spent the second most money in, and then lastly, if I would have exceeded the $1,500 cap for the 6% retail category that quarter given those top 2 retailers. In terms of meeting the $1,500 cap, I met this threshold in quarter 2 of 2021, quarter 4 of 2021, quarter 2 of 2022, and quarter 3 of 2022. I did not meet this threshold in quarter 1 of 2021, quarter 3 of 2021, or quarter 1 of 2022. So other than recognizing that I need to spend less money at Amazon, what did I learn? Well, by taking these 2 tables together, I've concluded that my typical spending would not be able to routinely maximize the 6% categories on the US Bank Shopper Rewards card. So this card would not be a good long-term use card for me, at least based on my current spending habits. So by repeating this same exercise with your own expenses, you can figure out for yourself if this card would make sense for you based on your typical spending habits. Remember, this is for years 2 and beyond. In year 1, because both the introductory $0 annual fee as well as the sign-up bonus, everyone will come out ahead net positive in year 1 for this card. I hope that this analysis was helpful for you in figuring out if this brand new card from US Bank is the right card for you. And if you enjoyed this video analysis, check out this video here where I do a similar breakdown analysis of another great credit card that came out this year, the Wells Fargo Autograph card.